Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Best 11 show. So much talk about it, probably more than we've ever had over the last 7 years. An abundance of options, an abundance of talent. What's your Best 11? This is going to be my Best 11, and I tell you what, it's going to really microscope that team that Ole picked against Chelsea, because this team I'm going to pick destroys it on paper, and I think it destroys it in formation. So it shows you what Ole can do. Will he do it? Is it his best 11? I think it is. Get yours in below. There's lots of different options for it. Also, I just want to say as well, I saw on Twitter just before I went live that Amazon was saying, if you had a time machine, what footballing event would you go back and stop? Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm running on to the Etihad and rugby tackling Aguero before he scores that goal against QPR. Yeah, I might do a bit of time, but what are you going to do about it? Because they don't get a penalty, it'll be a drop ball, they won't score and we'll win the league, and I'll be getting loads of fan mail, so whatever. And look, I'm good at rugby tackling. It's not going to hurt Aguero at all, but it will hurt their title chances. Anyway, you can put yours in below as well, and your 11s. What footballing moment would you change if you could do? And please keep it legal. Anyway, let me start off. Obviously, David De Gea in goal. That is not even in doubt. And Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka at right back. Very easy to pick there. The left back for me is going to be Alex Telles. I'm a big fan of Luke Shaw, but the problem with the Chelsea performance and the problem with Manchester United when we're playing these two holding midfielders is there's a focus on not conceding more than scoring. And I'll argue with that with anybody. I'm not saying Ole didn't try to beat Chelsea, but without a shadow of a doubt, you look at that game and we were more about not losing than about winning. Which you can, I'm not going to knock it. Some teams do that. But Telles, to me, he will give us them attacking options. And if you play him in a certain system, we can cover his potential defensive frailties that I think Luke Shaw's better at by using his attacking talents, which without doubt he's better than most left backs in the league going forward, and we need to utilise that. My centre back that's going to play with him is Harry Maguire. First of all, I'm not going to play a back five. I'm going to go with a back four. Harry Maguire will play. It's a tough one. It is a tough one, but I think that Harry Maguire's aerial ability, he is the best centre back we've got in the air, and I do think that is important. But what's important with Harry Maguire is that you do get a balance. Now, this is going to be controversial, but for me, it's Alex Tuanzebe who plays as the as the second centre back in a back four. He played fantastically well against PSG. I know it's only one game, but he played well against PSG, Mbappe, Neymar. He's got the pace that Lindelof and Maguire don't have. I'm picking my best 11, and my best 11 is a balanced team. And also, I think that we're not playing two holding midfielders. Ricky can cry. A lot of you can cry. It's a system, whatever. It's my opinion. Yours might have two holding midfielders in. I've thought about this, and I'll show you why. You don't need to play two centre defensive midfielders when you've got centre backs that are in symmetry and balance each other out. The reason we're playing two CDMs at the moment is because Lindelof and Maguire are not Rio and Vidic. And nobody is. But Rio and Vidic used to say to the fullbacks, you bomb on, midfielders bomb on, we'll deal with everything here. Maguire and Lindelof are a partnership that we are papering the cracks around them. As a partnership, they don't work. We're protecting them. We're protecting them with defensive fullbacks, and we're protecting them with two CDMs in front of them. If you play Tuanzebe and Maguire, that pace of Tuanzebe means that you don't have to protect them from, with two CDMs. So Tuanzebe comes in and he provides more balance to me. Now, again, I'm going controversial here, but I'm sticking Fred there as a CDM. The reason I'm going to stick Fred there is because all I want Fred to do is do this. Go back and forward and cover that role. That's all I want him to do. Tenacious Fred. We can even have a C. That's all he's going to do. I don't want him to do anything else. Forget about attacking. Forget about anything else. Simple. Take the ball off Maguire, give it forward. Take the ball off Tuanzebe, give it forward. That is your job. It's a risk. It is a risk. You could play Matic there. So I'm giving you an option. You could play Matic in this system. Now, my next player is going to be Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek is going to play as the right side of Fred. He's not going to play as a holding midfielder. He's going to have license to get there. He's basically going to cover this area here. I want him to move across. Because, and basically you're going to see what I'm going to do, but I want him to help Wan-Bissaka out, but I also want him to be licensed to get forward, also to cover Fred. He's a box-to-box midfielder on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, I'm going with Paul Pogba, and the same thing for Paul Pogba. You're not a holding midfielder. You are around the middle of the pitch. You're a box-to-box on that left-hand side. We've seen you do it for France. We've seen you do it for Juventus. I think this is where you get the best out of Paul Pogba. You've got Telles to work with. I think it's a very good position for Paul Pogba to play in. And then obviously Bruno Fernandes is here with license to not have to worry about getting back too much, but the attacking intent is there. And look at that midfield four. Look at the speed of that midfield four. Look at the mobility of that back four. That midfield four, sorry. And yeah, you can say it's a diamond. And look, I've been vocally against the diamond in the past. But look at that midfield four and look at the team he picked against Chelsea. Where's Dan James? Where's Juan Mata? Where's Scott McTominay? They're nowhere because I'm bringing Van der Beek, Paul Pogba into the team, and I'm going to play with 2 up front as well. This is utilising your best 11. Let me just move this and come back. There we go. No, it's not done it. There we go. It's all in symmetry there, so you can see the numbers and as it changes. So yes, that is how I'm going to be lining up in my midfield. Now, tactically, I'll show you how it's going to work in a minute. My front 2, well, first of all, I'm going to go Marcus Rashford as the number 10 there. On the left-hand side of the attack, and then I'm going to go Anthony Martial as the striker more there. Now, Anthony Martial is going to be more of the number 9, and Marcus Rashford is going to be more of a left-sided striker to work with Pogba and Telles down that hand side, because that's where we're going to do a lot of our attacking. Not all of it, not exclusively, but that's how it's going to work for me. Now, what I want to say about this is that there is a system that straight away causes a problem for this system that I've got. And if you think about Liverpool, they're probably the prime example. You've got people like Trent Alexander and Andy Robertson going forward, high forward on the right and the left. How does the diamond deal with that? Well, it's quite simple, really. It's tactics. People think that the 4-4-2 diamond is susceptible to wing play. Well, it isn't if everybody works collectively. And what you do with a team like this is basically you Paul Pogba let's say it's Trent Alexander-Arnold and he's coming down the left-hand side. Well, Paul Pogba shifts across. That's what he does. And Bruno Fernandes will also shift across. And basically you suffocate that hand side. Yeah, they can switch the play, but you've got Van der Beek on that side. You've also got Martial who can tuck in, Marcus Rashford who can tuck in. We've got mobile players in that system, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a team, and I've done it again here. I just want some symmetry there. It's done it with Martial again. Hello. Yeah, they're all now synced in, which is what I want to see. That team on there is mobile. That team is utilising a lot of our good players. That team on the left is infinitely better than the team that we sent out against Chelsea. And look, we can go on about that Chelsea game as much as we want, but what we're trying to do here is build an 11. And I've listened to a lot of what you've got to say. I've took my own thoughts on board, and I've listened to people like, Ricky and Kev and Beth and the comments. And to me, it really is about a personal choice, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of comments below about how they would do it. And is it a system, or is it a formation, or is it players? It's both. It's both. Some people think it's about putting inferior players into a system and it's going to be successful. Some people think you put your best players on the pitch. To me, it's an amalgamation of the both. I want a system that works, that gets the best out of our better players. It's logic. It's absolutely logic. It's like having a Ferrari and a Vauxhall Astra on your drive. The Vauxhall Astra might be more reliable, but the Ferrari is the better car. And that is what I want. I want the car that is the quicker, the better car, and it's getting the best out of the Ferrari. And that's what you do with that. Now look, looking at that team there, I don't mind if Paul Pogba comes out of that team, Fred goes where Pogba is, and Matic comes in where Fred is. That, in many of your eyes, and what do you think? Would you rather Pogba was on the bench and Fred went where Pogba is and Matic goes where Fred is? I don't mind that. I don't mind that as a tweak. I'm not bothered. But I also think that Paul Pogba is one of our better players. But without a shadow of a doubt, that system... You can also play Cavani. You could play Cavani in this team. Easily you could play Cavani in this team and maybe take Martial out or Rashford out. So the system works. It gets the best out of our players. What doesn't get... And Greenwood can play up front as well. What we need to move away from is the 4-3-3, and I agree with Ricky on this, the 4-3-3 with 2 wide players who don't really offer much defensively and don't offer much creatively. Greenwood and Rashford are individual flair players. They're not creators. And that's 2 positions wasted in my mind. And when you play a midfield three with Bruno and Pogba and Matic gets overrun. So I agree with that. It took me time to realise this, that the 4-3-3 that we have been playing doesn't work. It leaves us open defensively. But that system there, it's almost saying we're not going to use the width with attackers as we used to. We're going to be clever. We're going to manoeuvre. We're not going to be rigid. When a right back like Trent Alexander-Arnold is attacking us, Pogba will shift over, Rashford will track back, and we'll trap them in with Telles. On the right-hand side, we'll do it with Van der Beek, Bruno, and obviously Wan-Bissaka's there. Fred is just going to do his job of protecting the back four and moving around in a circle. The fullbacks can get forward in this system because Van der Beek and Pogba can provide the support with them defensively as well. It's just a very manoeuvrable system, the Diamond, with very good players in it. And on the bench, you've got McTominay, you've got Juan Mata, you've got players who can come on and do a job off the bench. We need to move away from the width. It takes too many players up, and we need to move away from this two holding midfield thing, which is way, way, way too defensive for a club like Manchester United. It's scared. And Tuanzebe plays a big part in this because his pace gets Maguire out of problems, which means we don't have to protect them with two CDMs. So to me, that is the team to play. It's tactically sound. The system is sound, it's defensively sound, and it makes us far more threatening in an attacking sense. To me, that is the perfect system. You might like a 5-3-2, you might find a 4-3-3 that works, but I don't think width is the way we need to go anymore. Greenwood's not actually a right winger, he doesn't create. Rashford off the left, I think it's his better position, but in a 4-4-2, he can move to the left anyway. He doesn't create enough off the left. We don't create enough to have wingers. If we'd bought Sancho, fine, we didn't. I think we need to take the best of what we've got, and our biggest strength area is midfield. So we need to find a system that works. And look, the great thing about that system as well, Bruno could swap with Pogba. Van der Beek could swap with Pogba. Van der Beek could swap with Bruno. It's interchangeable, but there's a system there. So to me, that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's best 11, and I think we need to see something like that very, very soon. Because if we see what we saw against Chelsea again, we are totally wasting the abilities we've got. And also, more important than anything, it starts to expose a lack of tactical foresight and vision. Because if I can sit there and come up with a team like that, and you can come up with all the teams you've come up with below, yet we're sending out a 4-2-3-1 with Mata, James and McTominay and Fred in it, and no Pogba and no Van der Beek and no Matic, and only one up front, then where maybe there are question marks about us tactically. I think Ollie will start going with a team similar to this because it gets the best out of us. And also, more important than anything, that team is a team that when an opposition looks at it, they go, that's a bloody good team. Telles at left back, Pace at the back, a midfield four that's as good as any in the league, and an exciting flair players up front, as well as having Cavani and Greenwood on the bench, as well as having maybe a Matic on the bench or a Pogba on the bench, depending what four you go with, a Luke Shaw on the bench, a Lindelof on the bench. That's the way to go. Smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, get your comments in below, and remember, get your comments in below about what footballing moment from history you would change if you could. I'll speak to you later. Thanks for watching.